Uh, Hello, sports fans, and Happy New Year. And welcome to a New Year's Day edition of Scott Sports 101. And it's Bowl Day today. It's been Bowl Day, and I'm going to give you the update on all the bowl games that went on today. And talk about the game that's going on right now between the Buckeyes and Clemson Tigers, the All-State Sugar Bowl. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. It's an Ohio State Buckeyes trivia question. Who coached Ohio State to their first national championship in 2002? I'll have the answer later in the podcast. Well, the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Clemson Tigers are taking on the Clemson Tigers, in the All-State Sugar Bowl at Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. And they are beating, Ohio State is beating Clemson right now, 35-20 at halftime. And it's been a tight game so far between the Buckeyes and Clemson Tigers in the first half, in the first and second quarters. And the Buckeyes are beating the Clemson Tigers. But the Buckeyes are beating the Clemson Tigers right now, as I said, 34-20. And there was 11 seconds to go to halftime, but now it is at halftime. James Sakowski was ejected from the game in the first half, but came back near the end of the second quarter. And he was ejected for hitting Justin Fields in the helmet area. And the referee came on and told him that was, he looked at the rules and he violated it, and it was a penalty, and he was ejected from the game. But he came back out to play in the second quarter, and Fields came. Chris Clave took over for a few plays, and then Justin Fields came back. But Chris Clave threw for the other touchdown that the Buckeyes scored in the second quarter, and that put them up. They were up 21-14 in the second quarter. And then they came back and scored another touchdown. It was up 28-14. And then Chris Clave threw that other touchdown. Or actually, he threw the first one. And Justin Fields threw that touchdown. And that put Ohio State up 35-20. And those were two touchdowns scored in the second quarter to get for the Buckeyes to take over the lead. So that's basically what's going on with the Buckeyes right now. It's been tight with them. And I'm going to give it the other. There were three other games today that went on, bowl games today. Number 9 Georgia beat number 8 Cincinnati. The Georgia Bulldogs beat the Cincinnati Bearcats in the Peach Bowl at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And by the final of 24-21, Cincinnati had a chance, but they just could not get over the hurdle. Auburn beat Northwestern today at Camping World Stadium, and it was the Verbo Citrus Bowl. And Auburn Northwestern just never looked back in this one. And Auburn just tried to fight back, but just could not in this one. The Alabama Clemson Tigers beat the number 4, which is number 1 Alabama, beat number 4, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, 31-14 in the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. Notre Dame, and it was pretty much a tight game between Notre Dame, but then Alabama pulled away, but Notre Dame just could not do anything right. The second quarter just did not go their way. So Notre Dame gets the win. Right now, the Buckeyes are leading 35-20. So right now at halftime. And we'll talk more about the Buckeyes in just a moment. But first, it's time now to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 College Bowl Day trivia question. It's a Buckeyes trivia question. Who coached Ohio State to their national championship in 2002? And if you said Jim Tressel, you are correct. Tressel, in his second year, led the team to its first title since 1968. He is well known for his conservative offensive schemes and trademark gray sweater vest. And I will have another trivia question on my next podcast, which will be for tomorrow's bowl game. So I'll have one tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Getting back to the Buckeyes and this game between the Buckeyes and the Clemson Tigers, Ohio State, they started out, I think it was, they started out, it was pretty tight, and Ohio State's looked good in this first half, and Clemson hasn't looked too bad. They've had a few shaky starts, but right now they trail Ohio State 35-20, and but as I said, I am not going to give a score prediction, but I am going to say that the Buckeyes will win in this one. That the Buckeyes win, and I do feel that will be the case, but I'm not giving a score prediction in this one. So, but this is one of those games. I think it's going to come down. It could come down to a last-second field goal or a touchdown in the final seconds. But I do feel that the Buckeyes have looked good, and I think it was tied at 7 between the Buckeyes and Clemson, and then it was tied at 14 at the end of the first quarter. And it stayed tied at 14 up until, I think, midway through the second quarter, and that's when, early in the second quarter, and then Ohio State just took the lead from there. And they scored 3 touchdowns. So, Ohio State has really dominated this first half, but Clemson has not walked away. They're going to put up a fight. And Clemson, I just don't think will walk away from this one. Excuse me. But I do feel that the Ohio State Buckeyes will get the win in this game. I'm not going to give a score prediction, though, as I've said. So we shall see what happens. It's now at halftime, but we should be in the third quarter very shortly. So... well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 New Year's Day College Bowl update show. And I'll be back with the recap of the All-State Sugar Bowl between Clemson, Ohio State, and Clemson once the game has concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. Happy 2021. Let's make it the best year ever. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.